In this experiment, we are going to perform a lot of different chemical reactions where at least one of the products is a non-metal compound or element. And we are going to be taking observations of those non-metal compounds or elements, like as far as their acidity dissolved in water, their smell, their color, and so forth. And we will be identifying an unknown based on this. Non-metal compounds are covalent. They don't have ions. The molecules don't stick together very much because of that. And so these are gases. It is qualitative because we are just going to be observing properties. We're not going to calculate amounts of anything. And so when you get your reagents, you can estimate. When it says 1 milliliter, you can use 15 drops. And that'll save you time and from having to wash your graduated cylinder and so forth. So every time you do a reaction, you'll do some different tests, and we have you do different tests on, different non-metal compounds, based on their properties. So some of them have odors. You want to be really careful about how you smell them. Just use your hand and wave over them. Some of them will burn your nose. Do your best to describe their smell. Remember that we use litmus paper to see if something is forming an acidic or basic solution. If red litmus paper or pink litmus paper turns blue, it means that that solution is basic. If blue turns red, that means that solution is acidic. And if there's no change with both of them, that means the solution is neutral. And since I said we were testing gases and we're testing solutions here, let me tell you how that works. So we'll have our solution that is our reaction down here. And remember that the reaction is producing a gas, so the gas will accumulate up above in the space above. And when we use our litmus paper, what we're doing is we're putting a wet piece of litmus paper. It's going to be wet with distilled water, and we're going to put it down the side, just slide it down the side. And that way when the gas bumps into it, it will dissolve slightly in that water, and that's where we'll see our color change if we have a color change. So some of them are acidic or basic in some form, just neutral solutions. A couple of rules will help you kind of remember, because you're going to have to remember the properties of these different compounds. Non-metal oxides, that's like CO2 is a non-metal oxide where you have oxygen in the second position there. That is going to form acidic solutions in water. And you probably know that anything that starts with H, and this is not one of yours, but I'm just making one up. If it starts with H, you know it's acidic, so that'll help you remember those properties. Just know that if something ends in hydrogen, that is not an acid. In fact, it might be a base. Often when the hydrogens are bonded to nitrogen like that, it will make it a base. We're going to be watching for bubbles, basically, and you need to try to describe how it bubbles. That'll help you decide your unknown. Some kind of more fizz, and some have, like 1 or 2 strong bubbles. On some of them, yes, it's 1 or 2 strong bubbles, and you don't want to miss it. Okay, so let me show you how this works. These are all of our reactions. Now, the compounds in red are knowns. They are our known reagents, and your unknown is one of those. Yeah, let's do this one. This one's pretty obvious. If you react to your unknown and you get, just say it smells like eggs, rotten eggs, and then you do react this one with the same sulfuric acid, and it smells like eggs, then you know your unknown is this compound, which is thioacetamide. Let me write that here. just want you to be familiar with these, because sometimes in the test and stuff we don't use the formula, we use the name, or maybe we'll use both, but you never know. Another one you may not know is this one. This one is sodium sulfonate. Okay, and then for these you need to be able to know what the products are. Let me erase some of this to make it. Okay, in other words, these are the non-metal products, and so one of these reactions makes iodine. And you can look at these reagents and usually tell which one, because I see this is the only place I see iodine. This is the reaction that makes iodine. This one gives that away. These are pretty easy because they look like that reagent. This one's a little different because it gives you two products. Okay, let me see. This one is pretty easy because NH4, it makes NH3. This top one, you see the O2 there? This is hydrogen peroxide. Our non-metal product is the O2. And I know that this one is the SO2. So I need to remember that this was the other one with the sulfur. This one makes H2S. And that leaves one that's kind of harder to see. This does have nitrogen in it. May not be obvious that it would make nitrogen gas. So you need to know those. You don't have to know the whole chemical reaction. On the tests, we usually give you more than one hint about what it will be. Like maybe we'll tell you the reagent and the color of the product, but it's good if you can be able to match that. On a quiz, I usually do it just like this, where you have a box or a multiple choice or something. So your unknown will be one of these things in red, and your gas that you're observing will be one of these in blue. And so that's what it is. And after you do this experiment, I will either grade or give you a key so that you'll know what those properties are and what the correct colors are and stuff for your lab final exam. And that's it.